Hey everybody, I had gotten started. I don't know what happened. I thought I was recording. So right now I'm doing some Brussels sprouts. Already got them cut up, halved, a little bit of olive oil, some salt, pepper, and then they're going in the oven at 425 for about 35-40 minutes. So I will come back, and then we're making Spaetzle tonight. Quite tasty, dun 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 dun. And we're gonna make Jaeger Spaetzle, which is like a mushroom sauce to go on top of it. So I will be back in just a little bit when things are ready here, and we'll talk to you then. Okay, we're back. So 15 minutes and our Brussels sprouts have been cooked. So we're just going to take these out, rotate them around really quick. You should be able to see from there they're starting to brown up. Just kind of try and flip them over best you can. And then we will toss these scrumptious little goodies back in there. For another 15 minutes. Okay, got a pan of water going right here. We're not making the Spaetzle from scratch. That is a mess. So we're going to just fire this up on high. Water's in there, going good. Okay, so for our sauce, because we're going to make a Jaeger Spaetzle, so we're going to, which is like a mushroom kind of onion sauce that goes on top of it. And we'll modify it a little bit. I know that you can make this 17 different ways. So we're going to take our onion. We're going to get it chopped up. What's up, bug? Oh, yes. So last night when we were out doing some work outside, this little nugget came running by in the yard, and we attempted to find the mother, but we have not yet. So Kennedy is now taking care of Rudy.
Or Rudolph.
Or Rudolph.
Well, Rudy for short.
Rudy for short, because on its beak, bill, I don't know, it has a little, they said it has a little red dot. So they named it out, she named it after Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We did do enough research that it's a wood duck, and absolutely adorable. Found out a lot about ducks that I did not know, like that they're super, super social creatures. And without companionship, basically, that they die of loneliness. So Kennedy has been being a surrogate duck mother.
Surrogate? What's that?
Well, because you're not a duck and you're not its real mother, but you're being its mother now. Kind of a stand-in mom. So we're going to cut up 2 onions. Sorry, I'll come back to this in a moment. Yes? Oh, he fell asleep in her hand. He absolutely loves her. Or she absolutely loves her.
We don't know.
We don't really know.
I think it might be a she.
So, this has been the adventure in our day so far. Was getting a little heat lamp and all that sort of fun stuff so that it stays sane. So cut up 1 onion. We've got 2 cloves of garlic here that we're going to use. And we'll get our sauce going. Butter is kind of the thing that makes this really good, so don't skimp on the butter. Oh, wait, I have my hand cooking. Okay. 3 tablespoons of butter. Sounds pretty delish. We'll be adding some more, but we'll start with 3 tablespoons. And what we're going to do is, so let's just put this on just about medium. I don't have any fresh onions, I don't have any fresh mushrooms right now, but in the pantry there were these mushrooms, so we're gonna use these. So they're just canned mushrooms, so I'm gonna run these over here and I'm gonna dry these, not dry them, get the juice out of them, because I don't want the juice. But yeah, they're obviously always preferred fresh. That's the preferred option. But sometimes that's just not the option that is in front of you. So you make do with what you have. So for you purists out there that I just ruined, sorry. Holy criminy. Did you hear that? That was a small amount of massive thunder that just hammered outside. Do what?
Rudy doesn't seem too concerned.
Rudy's not too concerned?
I could like...
Okay, well, we might have no electricity later. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully you can get that done. Did you see there's also a...
I saw a huge flash, but I thought that
Yeah.
you had taken like a photograph or something.
I know, but then I looked around and I was like, wait, there's nothing that could have made that flash because the TV's on and I was watching it and there was no flashing.
I thought it was you.
No.
No, I mean like I thought you had taken a picture or something.
No.
Okay, well, Bodie just pooped his pants. Or Joey did. Hey dude, you're okay. Now, that means for the rest of the evening that dog is not going to leave my side. Swiss cheese. You're going to need Swiss cheese because when we start combining this stuff, once the sauce is cooked, the noodles are cooked, and then we're going to drain them, and then we're going to put this sauce in there, mix it up, and then we're going to put a ton of the Swiss cheese on top, and we're going to let that just melt. And once it's melted, then we know that it is ready to go. Hey dude, no, you can't climb into the counter. So while we're waiting for this to melt, I'm going to go ahead and get our cheese grated. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there as the world is slowly opening back up. It is definitely a different world out there. It's kind of bizarre. But it is what it is. Okay, dude, I can't do this with you. Can one of you please call Joey? He's literally like, I'm like standing 2 feet away from the counter trying to grate cheese because he won't leave my feet. So yeah, we have like storms, basically what it said for the next week. We just have thunderstorms nonstop, so it should be a fun week, especially when you have dogs like this that are terrified of thunder and lightning. So, I think we need to buy him one of those weighted dog vests or something. Okay, so our butter's almost melted. Okay, dude, come on. Can one of you please call the dog? Yeah, you're gonna have to work a little harder than that. Oh, come on. Dude, go. Buddy, I can't cook like this. Okay, so onion, garlic in the pan. We're going to saute these and get them kind of translucent. Oh, are you here to help, Bodie? Thanks. A lot of help you are. Okay, let me get some water going. I was hoping if I moved, he would follow me and then I could crowd back in where he's sitting. But he's not moving. He literally won't move. Oh, he's gone. Woohoo! You don't get your spot back, sucker. Okay. So, onions. Then, once we do that, we're going to take our mushrooms. It is a Jaeger sauce, so it's a mushroom sauce. So really you want a lot of mushrooms. Like preferred would be about 1.5 pounds of mushrooms. I'm going with all of about, I don't even know what size these cans are. I've got, I'm going with 8 ounces of mushrooms. So not quite at the same amount, but like I said, sometimes you just have to use what you have. I even called my mom who lives down the street to ask her if she had any mushrooms, and she did not, so that's okay. Okay, we got those going good there, so let's drop our mushrooms in now. Okay, and then we're going to turn our heat up just a skosh so that we can brown these mushrooms really nicely, because you want them to be browned kind of like, imagine like perfect French toast or grilled cheese sandwich. You want them to have that nice little crunchy outer flavor. Okay, our water is boiling. If you put the lid on it, then you don't run the risk of looking at the water the whole time and then it won't boil. So there's my advice to those of you who are superstitious, who say if you watch the water boil, it won't ever boil. Throw some salt in there. And let's take our Spaetzle and dump it in. One day we'll definitely do a homemade, so you can see the fun process there. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. Tag says 11 to 13 minutes. We're going to go on the 11-minute side because it's still going to be cooking a little bit more after we get the sauce done and combine the sauce with it. We got 3 minutes on the timer, so about 8 minutes when that goes off. Let me get this stuff all out of the way here. Okay. Oh, you're ready for another one. Is that Levi? Oh, good time to come over, Mom. It's been raining. It's been raining for the past few hours.
I know, but not very far.
Oh.
Now it's really raining.
Okay. Everybody's going crazy now. Okay. So we've got this here because we're going to use our veggie broth. You could use beef broth or chicken broth or whatever type of broth you want. We'll be using veggie broth. Like I said, I don't actually heat the water up and do it. I just do it this way because as soon as you toss it in there, it's going to heat up and it mixes up really nice. Something that would go nice with this, which tonight we're just doing the Spaetzle and Brussels sprouts and some dill cucumbers that I made up earlier just for snacks. Sausages would go really good with this. Pork chop would go really good with this. So it just depends on what you're in the mood for. But just by itself, this is a treat and a meal that is quite wonderful. So. Keep getting the cheese grated. The cheese is really, really important. Definitely don't skimp on the cheese because that is delish. Dang, you would have been the like grandma got hit by a bolt of lightning tonight. Okay, timer done. This still goes for 8 minutes, so let's get that going so we don't forget. And, rephrase that so I don't forget. You're not going to forget. You're not the one cooking. Okay, so let's get our sprouts out of the oven. Look out, there's hot vegetarian action going on. Okay. This is about how we like our sprouts. They're nice and browned. They're not burnt. And kind of like a cicada, they're crunchy on the outside and gooey on the inside. And about the only person who will get that reference and understand completely what I'm talking about is Ben. Okay, so we'll cook these for just a couple more minutes. Keep sauteing them. Get them a little browner. That's the thing that's hard about like using a canned mushroom is that there's so much fluid in there that you're really cooking off a lot of that fluid. So preferred would be the not canned variety of mushrooms. So, and we do have a little bit of tomato paste, which always kills me because every recipe calls for like 1 tablespoon of tomato paste or 2 tablespoons, and you get it in 6 ounces. I don't know what am I going to save this for the next 3 weeks when I do something? There we go. Now they're starting to get a little brown. And I was chilly earlier. It is starting to warm up in here. Hold on, let me get this long sleeve shirt on. Oh, okay. Yummy. She didn't bring mushrooms, but she did bring mozzarella cheese. Okay, these are getting browner. This is taking longer than it should, but like I said, when you use canned mushrooms, you have to cook off a lot of that fluid that's already in the mushrooms from sitting in a can of mushroom fluid. That gives me time to keep grating my cheese, which this was basically a block of cheese. And that's what's going to get globbed onto the Spaetzle when we are ready to mix and match. Okay, we need to, no, I'm not going to touch that. Okay, so where are we at here? Next, give these just a second longer. They're starting to brown nicely. Okay, one thing we can't forget is the heavy whipping cream. And so you can see what else is going with it, because German sauerkraut, you can't really have Spaetzle and not have sauerkraut. Okay, so our mushrooms are finally starting to get right where I want them. A little crunchy on the outside, but just soft. So just so they have a nice little texture to them. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of wine in here, just to deglaze. Remember, when you use alcohol, as soon as it starts boiling, it burns off the alcohol content, but it leaves the flavor. I didn't use much, maybe a tablespoon in there, just to get anything that's stuck to the pan to deglaze it, because that's all good stuff that you want in the sauce. You don't want to lose that. Okay, so let's do that. Now we're going to put our broth in. Okay. I'm going to stir that around, and we're going to let some of this cook down. In a moment, we'll be putting a little bit of tomato paste in there, just about a tablespoon. That will help thicken stuff up, and then once that cooks down a little more, we'll bring this up to a little higher temperature so we can get it to a little slow roll boil. Put in a little bit of tomato paste. That will help thicken it up a little bit, gives it some added flavors. And then we'll top it off with some heavy whipping cream. Our noodles will be done in just like 2 minutes, and we'll take care of those. So these are egg noodles. They're going to be really starchy. You definitely don't want to rinse these off, because you want all this sauce to stick to those noodles. So don't rinse them off at all. You're just draining them and leaving it at that. And hopefully it's timed just perfectly, that it's not a big clump of egg noodles that falls back in the pan when we put it in there. So. Okay, so recount really quick. We started with onions, garlic, sauteed that up with 3 tablespoons of butter. Sauteed that for a couple of minutes, put our mushrooms in, continued to saute those. Give a nice little crunch on the mushrooms. We've added our broth. We're now bringing it up to a light boil, so that we can help burn off just a little bit of this liquid. It actually wasn't water, it was vegetable broth. You use whatever broth you want. And by choice as well, the wine that you want to use, totally up to your discretion. I would not suggest a sweet wine. That would be a flavor that I don't know. I'm sure there's a recipe that you could find that calls for a sweet white wine. But something that's a little bit more dry is probably a better option. But again, if it's in your wine, then it's something you already like, then you're probably not going to be disagreeable to the flavor that it produces. Oh, that's a lot of cheese. I don't know why when I was a kid I liked grating cheese. It's such a weird thing. Okay. Eventually we're going to drop these last 2. Okay. Noodles are done. So let's take those over here. And let's drain these. Ah, crap. Okay. Well, we don't have all the noodles because when you're pouring it and all of a sudden your glasses fog up and you can't see anything and you miss the colander, that's just dumb. So, let's see if I can save any of these. No. Not enough to save. Okay, so we got that going there. So now let's add a tablespoon of tomato paste. Obviously this one's a teaspoon, so let's see what happens with this. And then we'll go from there. We're going to go for one more. And that will be good for there. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Kind of get it a nice brown color to it, and that tomato paste will add some additional layers of flavor there. Okay, last of the butter here. Gonna melt that. We're gonna put some, let's turn this down just a little bit. We're gonna put some heavy whipping cream in there. Mmm, smells delish. Okay, we'll let that cook, and we're going to get our noodles back in our pan. We're going to get this back over here. This should be melted, ready to go. Yeah, looking good. So we're going to go ahead and turn this down to low. Okay, we're going to take now and pour, I'm guessing that's about a fourth of a cup, somewhere in between a third and a fourth of a cup. Yeah. Okay, and that's what it should look like. You're making yourself a nice mushroom cream sauce. Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take all this, pour right onto here. Set this aside. Let's go ahead and mix this up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take all that Swiss cheese that we just made, that we just grated. And we're just going to crumble it on the top. Just kind of sprinkle it all around the top. There's some more here. Let's not lose any of that because I love cheese. Okay. We're going to cover it. Put it just off the heat, but it's still getting some. We're going to let that sit for 5 minutes or so. We're going to let the cheese melt. Make sure you put the lid back on top. Okay, we're back. So, I'll get this put together here. We just let that cheese melt all over the place. Okay. So, here's our homemade Spaetzle, some sauerkraut, some dill cucumbers, some German sourdough bread, and deliciousness. So, sorry you're not here, Julia. You don't get to enjoy. And you guys have a great day. Peace.